Alright, this is a walkthrough of Pinkie the camper. My name is Jules. I'm the owner, and over the past year I've been rehabbing the camper, doing a lot of structural fixes as well as cosmetic. It's hard to get a sense of space just from photos, so I decided to make a video. This is what I would call the bathroom. There is no shower, there's no sink, no tub, but there is a camping toilet, as you can see there, which has worked just fine for me. It is an ecologically friendly camping toilet, which means that the liquid that it comes with is biodegradable. And then here's the front door, which we came through. I decided to leave it that same pink because that's what gives the camper its charm. And then over here, I've been using this filing cabinet as a trash receptacle, but you could use it for anything else. You could use it for storage. It's kind of a shabby chic finish on it. It's pretty rusty, so the paint didn't cover as well as I would have liked, but it'll still definitely get the job done. And then up here, storage is always an issue, so anything you can do to add storage on campers like this, just a couple of little things to make it feel a little homier. This does come with a propane tank. There's a pretty large one. There's a smaller one hooked up to the heater right now, and that little heater makes it really toasty in here. It's on low right now, and it's perfectly warm. A lot of the objects in here are found objects, reclaimed objects. A lot of things were thrifted. I've been very careful to not just buy a lot of new materials for this, in order to not only retain the vintage feel, but also to keep up with it being as ecologically friendly as possible. This is what I would call either a bed or living area that's off to the left when you first walk in the door. This piece of furniture down here I have laid out as a bed, but you could very easily convert it into a chair. It does fold up, so that's kind of a nice option. Or if you have a few people over, you can keep the pillows back like that and kind of do it as a couch. This is the feature wall that I decided to put up in here, again, kind of keeping with that mod sort of vintage feel. Same thing with this whole piece of furniture down here, which this actually came with that. It was hot pink and covered in fish stickers, so it was kind of ugly. Decided to cover it up. So it's just kind of a blank wall. If you wanted to spruce it up, you probably could. It actually takes up kind of a large swath of space, so another feature wall, piece of art, something like that. This is the generator. It is a Goal Zero Yeti 400. As you can see right now, it is charging. There are 2 solar panels on the roof. It takes maybe a day to get a full charge if you're in moderate to high sunlight. And if you were, say, running a laptop all night or something like that, it might drain the generator, but it's usually pretty hardy, honestly. Right now I have it just kind of running these little lights just to show that it is in working order. The camper is selling for $37.50, or the best reasonable offer. I probably wouldn't go down too much, just because not only I've put, as you can see, a lot of cosmetic stuff, but a lot of structural. This whole area up here was completely rotten. The luan, the wood that was there, was completely water damaged, so I put this piece of fabric over it, which is lined on the inside. It's kind of like sort of like a burlap or something. You probably can't see, but it's got a plastic coating on the inside. There is new insulation. There is new plastic coating in there, just kind of as a double barrier. As you can see, because of the water damage, there's some slight staining on this part of the wall right here, but I did as best I could with the paint to cover it up, make it look a little bit more decorative. This wall, as you first come in, the previous owner had completely covered up this window. So that window wasn't even visible to me when I first bought it. And because of the water damage, I tore out the wall, realized that there was this window back here, which was too beautiful to pass up. So I decided to go ahead and bring that back out again. As you can see, in having to rebuild the wall, I mean, it doesn't look perfect. It's kind of more functional than decorative over here. Just want to be really clear about the level of work that I've done in here. It's not professional by any stretch. But it is definitely going to hold. It will keep mold out, and it definitely will prevent any more staining from coming in, which is basically the most important part to me anyway. But she is a 16-foot by 8-foot camper. I don't know if you can get a really good feel from the video, but while she's very small, it's actually pretty cozy in here. The colors I chose to make it feel more airy. This is the refrigerator. Kind of open that up for you. So, clean. This refrigerator does run on both propane and electricity. I don't know if you saw before, but there is electrical hookup over there. There are some wires you could connect up there to different things if you wanted to. I've never taken this to a campground, so I don't know how it runs on the electricity, how that works out. I'm not sure. I can't guarantee 100%, but it also does run off of propane. I've only ever used this as a cooler, so it's worked just fine for me in the summer months, again, trying to be as energy efficient as possible. I am a fanatic collector of packaging, so I've got all of the packaging for the solar panels. Things like this, you know, the original wheel caster that you can put it on the front if you want to move it by hand. This is a picnic basket, which is kind of nice, which if you were really into it, maybe you could make me an offer on it, but I'm pretty into it. This is another one of the ways that you could connect it if you wanted to. That also comes with it. As far as the big propane tank over here, I had a hose connector for it. I no longer do, but they're not expensive. You could go to, you know, Cabela's, Walmart, some sort of camping supply store and find that pretty easily. There's storage, which is kind of nice. A couple of items in here that I'm going to just leave for the next person. This is just a little reflector. The wiring does work on the wiring kit so that you can drive this legally. A couple of the bulbs are out. Maybe the connections need to be resoldered, but it's definitely street legal anyhow. A couple of extra pieces of fabric and stuff like that if you want any of it. Empty. This one I used for clothing. I still have the organizer in there, so it was kind of nice to have my clothes be able to be laid out. This was another story where it was just so damaged that I decided to just redo the insulation, put up plastic as a barrier, and then put up this sort of decorative fabric. If you were really crazy about restoring it, you could put up another piece of Luan. I don't necessarily think it's really all that important. Just to kind of give you a shot in here. This I've used for storage. It is also meant to be a sleeping quarter. It's pretty claustrophobic, so unless you've spent time on a 1920s submarine, it might feel a little too cramped for you. Let me see if I can actually put this part down. There are two latches, one on this side that I'll go ahead and, let's see if I can. There we go. Another one over on this side. As you can see, it's pretty easy. I can do it one-handed. All right. And then this part does come all the way down. And I've left in some extra bedding, so if you wanted to sleep up here, you could. If you want to have a slumber party, you could sleep up here. Maybe your friend could sleep over there if you wanted. An inflatable mattress, I think, would also fit just fine in this space on the floor here. Floors aren't in perfect condition, as my Monica said. Floors aren't in perfect condition, but I've done what I can to keep them as clean as possible. It is an older camper, but I think this part was probably restored at some point. It looks like the floors are fairly decent, probably some sort of scrap flooring. There are some kind of funky looking, like, again, kind of structural things that needed to be done. Like there's some latex caulk through here. Is a little damaged, but it's really old, so you get that stuff. It's been around since the 80s, and so have I, so we're all falling apart a little bit. Other than that, hope you enjoyed the tour, and feel free to contact me if you're willing to buy. Thanks.